You made a comment about how you was one of the few rappers that never sold their soul. What made you say that?
Cause I know majority of these rappers. Yeah, I know what be going on behind the scenes. I know who not really in control.
Yeah, it's like, man, who is the new street rapper that we could sign that's gonna impact the masses in their city, and we gonna blow them up, and they young, so they don't realize that they being used right now, you heard me? They don't realize it. We gonna make them rich, and we gonna get one from every major city, because that way we can make sure that they give birth to a whole bunch of mini-me's that's looking up to them.
You know, a lot of times people be blinded by what they see in these videos on TV, but I just know, I know what I know, man. You know what I mean?
You've probably heard the rumors whispered in barbershops or seen sudden, unexplained rises in certain music careers. Artists who seem to transform overnight. But now, someone who actually experienced it is finally speaking out. Lil Flip, the Houston rap legend who built his career independently and made millions before ever signing with a major label, has revealed something shocking. According to him, most rappers have literally sold their souls, and what they wanted him to do will leave you speechless. He says industry people even tried to send individuals to his home under the excuse of performing a spiritual cleansing, but that's only the beginning. Other artists are now coming forward with even darker stories about the so-called gatekeepers of the industry and the real cost of fame and success. While most fans are distracted by flashy music videos and celebrity scandals, this Houston icon has just pulled back the curtain on what's really happening in the world of modern rap, and it's more disturbing than anyone imagined.
Be going on behind the scenes. I know who not really in control. You know what I mean? I know the real. You know, a lot of times people be blinded by what they see in these videos on TV, but I just know, I know what I know, man. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people that ain't being righteous, and they ain't keeping it infinity, because keeping it 100 ain't enough. That's a limit. You go, with me, you gotta keep it infinity. So it's just a lot of people, man, that just, you know, selling their soul and selling themselves short and distracted with the wrong things. So, you know, it is what it is, man. This industry is a very evil industry, you know what I mean? Like, it's very evil, man. So you gotta really surround yourself with people that think like you or bigger than you. So it's a nice amount of, I ain't gonna even say nice, it's a lot of rappers that sold their soul, and, you know, they let money dictate everything they do. They value money more than they value humans. I ain't participating in no bullshit. If it ain't righteous, I don't want to be a part of it, man. I'm not gonna snake my people, and yeah, I ain't gonna snake my people, and yeah, I can't sell my people out, and I ain't gonna sell myself out. Fame ain't that important, man, for me to just do anything. It's cool. I'm used to the attention.
Lil Flip, the same man who sold over 25 million albums without giving up his creative control, has shared something that'll send chills down your spine. He claims that most of the rappers you see on TV made a trade far worse than losing ownership of their music. They gave up something that can never be bought back, something far deeper than money or fame. Flip says he's personally watched this transformation happen. Artists he once admired became hollow versions of themselves, emotionally and spiritually drained. This isn't just about greed or corruption anymore. According to him, the industry operates with pure evil intent. These artists aren't innocent victims, they've become willing participants in something much darker. They've chosen money over morals, fame over family, and success over their souls. While Flip refused to take part in anything he considered wrong, many others said yes to deals that would horrify most people. But who exactly makes these offers, and how do they decide who to target? Flip says the people behind this system move with military-like precision, studying artists like scientists studying test subjects, patiently waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Once you influence you, then you're an asset to them, right? So once you understand your value position, right? Like, you could be an independent guy, putting work in, and get to a point where you're good enough for them to purchase your soul, right? And when you see, there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold their soul. And when you know what you're looking at and you know how to decipher, you will see it. And the people like the brother right here who has this merch and is doing it out the trunk and direct to consumer, you will never get to that $20 million club without going through certain doors.
So now I gotta ask this question.
So E40 didn't do it.
Hold on. No, I gotta ask this question. Do you guys believe that the rappers that are at the top sold their soul?
Yes.
Nope.
Somehow.
Yes.
They only approach artists after identifying raw talent and desperate circumstances. They watch struggling musicians for months, cataloging weaknesses, financial pressures, personal vulnerabilities.
Yes, yes, yes. Industry plans exist. Yes. The music industry will conspire to say what this artist represents is something that we need more of in America. So if it's extreme ignorance, if it's watered down blackness, if it's whiteness that represents being able to be cool and be accepted by black people, whatever it is, we want more of that. So we will do everything in our power to make this person pop off and be a star, to push this agenda. Or we have a vested interest financially in seeing this artist make it. Because not only do we have this artist signed to us, but we manage this artist and we know that this artist is gonna create a whole generation of people just like them. Yeah, they definitely got industry plans. Yes, all of these black artists who ain't even old enough to understand the contract that they about to sign and who are being signed just because they had one thing that went viral, that they glorifying a bunch of murder and a bunch of just negativity, and all of a sudden they about to get paid millions of dollars. Those are industry plants. The industry knows the impact that those artists will have on the rest of their community. They know it. And they're just like, oh man, we need that person to make it for sure. But if you are representing something positive or something righteous or something intellectual or godly, you absolutely have to do way more work to make the industry say, all right, we're gonna let them in. It's like, all right, we're gonna let a J. Cole in. We're gonna let a Kendrick Lamar in. But we got enough. We got enough of them. You know what I'm saying? We got enough of them. You realize that J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are two of the richest rappers walking planet Earth today? Two of the most successful rappers? Why would the industry not want more J. Cole's and more Kendrick Lamar's?
Yeah, they don't even floss or anything, bro. You don't see them with jewelry, none of that.
Bro, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar scare the industry because if they let more of them in, you're gonna have a whole generation of people coming up who are black, who are saying, I ain't even gotta flaunt no jewelry, you heard me? I ain't even gotta flaunt fancy cars, and I can be intellectual, I can be woke, I can be a man of God.
Or rap about it.
Or rap about that stuff. And if you got a whole generation of black people that's coming up, that's like, man, there wasn't one J. Cole and one Kendrick Lamar. There were a ton of them, and they were all huge. Now, keep in mind, a ton of people exist who are doing the same type of work that Cole and Kendrick are doing, and they're doing that work in their own way. I'm one of the people, you know, and there's a bunch of people that are doing that. But for the mainstream music industry, man, they don't want a bunch of that to exist, bro. Like, it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't want more of.
These recruiters don't approach just anyone. They quietly monitor up-and-coming musicians for months, identifying raw talent mixed with desperation. They take notes on everything: financial stress, emotional struggles, personal weaknesses. Once they find someone vulnerable enough, that's when they make their move.
Have you ever been approached to do anything out of pocket?
I've been approached to have somebody come to my house and pray. And yeah, like, hey man, this guy, yeah, he's like he gets spirits out, and you know, he wants to come and pray. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I want to continue to pray the way I've been praying. I don't know who he believe in and what he believe in, but he can't come in my house. So, yeah, peace. I kept God in what I got going on. I kept God. I keep God in what I got going on. I don't love money. I talk for myself. I come from a family that programmed me and trained me to be out in this world and out in the streets and knowing how to maneuver. So you can't lure me with no money or nothing like that. Like, meaning like, if I don't want to do the deal, I ain't gonna do the deal. The difference between me and a lot of artists is I started doing music for God. My grandmother played the piano. I was in the church. I sung in the choir. I played the drums, played the piano, sung in the choir for God, went to different churches and sung here and there, right? For God, doing music in the studios, making gospel music, making hip hop, But I started off doing music for God. So I'm not gonna let money dictate every move I make when it comes to music. It's a blessing for me to be able to create. The money is gonna come. So I just pride myself in treating people right, and relationships outlast money. So you treat people right and you move the correct way, you'll have longevity. So for any artist or anybody that's a hater or just a fan or whatever you are, if you feel like some of your favorite artists fell off, sometimes you gotta just go take a trip down there and link up with them and see how they living. Cause I can speak for the artists that's in Texas. We still getting money, we still working, we still touring. We not broadcasting everything.
According to Flip, the recruitment system deliberately targets struggling black artists, especially those facing tough financial or moral challenges. Why? Because desperation makes people more likely to agree to almost anything. Think about it. They never go after already successful independent artists like Lil Flip. Why would they? Someone with money and freedom can't be easily controlled. Instead, they prey on broke musicians. Drowning in debt and frustration, people who've spent years chasing recognition but keep hitting walls. The system breaks their pride, then steps in with promises of success. But what happens when these predators finally make contact? What they demand from artists will completely shatter your trust in the entertainment world. Because when the so-called gatekeepers come forward, their requests are beyond anything most people could even imagine.
Depending on what part of the industry you're trying to get access to, there's gatekeepers. So if you're trying to get signed to a major label, there's gatekeepers. If you're trying to get on certain media platforms to get interviewed, there's gatekeepers. If you're trying to get on the mainstream radio, you heard me, urban radio, there's gatekeepers. Yes. On the totem pole of people with integrity and people with morals, values, and principles, these gatekeepers ain't nobody. But in this perverted, sick, twisted industry, these gatekeepers do hold access to certain levels, you know? Bro, I've had gatekeepers in the music industry who have literally tried to hold a record deal behind their back and let me know, like, look, if you're a part of this homosexual act that I'm trying to take part in, you heard me? Yeah, come on, this door open real quick for you. Like, I got a song where I've talked about that before called The Devil's Playground. Like, this is real, dog. And the only way that type of stuff can work on you is if you let them have all the leverage to where you want what's behind that gate that bad. So that's a real thing. You also got people who, this is a different type of gatekeeper. The gatekeepers who will say, hey, you making too much righteous noise right now. If you just tone that righteousness down a little bit, then we'll allow you into these doors. But you got to tone that down. You got to become a little more vanilla, you heard me? A little more lukewarm, a little more bland, and you'll fit in with us more. So that's the slick gatekeeping. It ain't telling you to all the way, you know, bend over or open your mouth or something like that. It ain't that, but it's telling you, like, dim your light. And what ends up happening is you got so many people that's like, well, that's not that bad. They not asking me to do nothing super crazy. I just got to dim my light. That's the scariest kind right there. Because a lot of people will be like, wait, I just got to turn it from level 10 to level 5? Man, bet. I could do that, bro. I bet. Now I get accepted? Cool. Next thing you know, you got a whole industry, brother, that's lukewarm. Whole industry lukewarm. So then when somebody that's on fire come along, they looking at it like, whoa, you crazy. Hold on. You shining too bright. Hold on.
Lil Flip reveals that the industry's influence reached all the way into his personal life. He says people tried to enter his home under the pretense of performing a spiritual cleansing. But according to Flip, this wasn't about faith or guidance. It was something much darker. They wanted to perform what he calls demonic rituals inside his house. Imagine the nerve it takes to approach a successful, independent artist and suggest he needs spiritual help from their chosen experts. And as disturbing as that sounds, Flip says other artists faced even worse demands. Requests that became more twisted and extreme with each step deeper into the system.
99% of the rappers in the industry is fake.
Yeah, when it comes to artists, yeah, but the people that I've encountered, see, I can't speak on the people that I haven't met. So when I said that I'm speaking on 99% of the artists that I've met, they've done funny and, you know, said they was gonna do this and didn't do that, and then God will put them like right around me, like, you know what I mean? And instead of me being like bitter because somebody promised me, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this for you, I just be like, all right, I just put you in my book as a liar. You know what I mean? Because there's people that'll see you in public. I call it Hollywood talk. Hey, what's up, bro, man? I'm a fan of your music, man. We got to do something, man. Here, take my number. Do you take their number? They don't answer. You know what I mean? They don't answer, but they might do an interview and be like, yeah, Flip, one of my favorite rappers. But then they don't answer their phone. And then when they see you again, it's like they seen a ghost. Hey, man, take my number, man. I know we supposed to do something. It's cool. You offered the verse. I didn't ask you for the verse. You know what I mean? So it's cool, man. People promise you all kind of shit in this industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't deliver. But I'm a solo artist. So I got to depend on me. Everything everybody told me not to do worked for me. So whether a person keep their word about rapping or singing on the song, it's not going to stop me from getting where I need to go. Because I'm going to go put the work in, and I put the work in already.
Yeah, you also mentioned that, you know, you helped a lot of rappers, and once they got on, they went Hollywood on you.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, it's one that went super, super Hollywood, man. I'm like, damn, bro, you really changed like that, bro. But like I say, man, I was prepared for it, man. I don't be surprised by nothing I see no more in this. So I just take that just face value, man. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, that money shows your true character, man.
Yep, and I'm gonna be the same whether I got it or I don't got it. It don't make me.
Real talk. How you feel about the people that say the Houston rap scene fell off? From your point of view, what happened?
I can't speak on what happened with anybody else's life. I kept doing music.
No, in general.
No, but
the Houston music scene.
No, but what I'm saying, I can't speak on what happened, meaning like, I don't know what other people was doing in their life, or whether you want to say the momentum to slow down or whatever. Everybody got their own different situations. Some people left labels. Some people, you know, did tech stuff. You know, everybody had different reasons for why they did what they did.
Another conscious rapper, D1, has come forward with a story just as horrifying. He says industry insiders offered him record deals, but only if he agreed to participate in degrading, immoral acts. These weren't symbolic gestures or hidden metaphors. They were literal, physical acts of humiliation in exchange for fame and wealth. They dangled everything young artists dream about: major label contracts, national radio play, and mainstream visibility, all tied to one condition: give up your self-respect. This strategy works only when ambition takes over conscience, when fame becomes more important than integrity, and it's not limited to a few people. According to both Flip and D1, this pattern is happening across the entire industry. They describe a system that pushes struggling artists toward darker choices, until someone finally breaks. Both Flip and D1 refused these offers, but their experiences raise a disturbing question. How many others said yes? And what happens to those who say no? They say the punishment for rejecting these demands is swift, deliberate, and cruel. In this world, refusal isn't just frowned upon, it's punished.
Twice a year, whatever. But if it's not $1 million budget being spent on marketing and radio and ads and posters and, you know, brainwashing you to know, hey, this album is out, here's a billboard over here, then it's gonna look like you're not doing nothing. But like I say, success is subjective, you know what I mean? So we still working, you know what I'm saying? Paul's still touring. I just did a show with him. He brought me out as a special guest. He got a deal with Paul, my son. He's liquor deals and shit like that. Chameleonaire doing the text. You know, Slim still living great, you know, doing shows. Rose still living great. You know, I'm doing shows, making albums. Key got a podcast, Legend Talk, you know what I'm saying? He's still great, doing shows. Everybody elevating. Young Star, you know what I mean? I brought him out to Carbach on 713 Day. Like, we still out here working, holding it down, you know, for Big Pokey, for all the legends. So we just still working, man. It's just not millions of dollars being spent on marketing no more. We back independent. So, you know, we got our core fan base, and they go book us and with us regardless. So
Now the truth is out. Thanks to Lil Flip and D1, who risked their careers to tell it. They've shown that the music industry isn't just greedy or unfair. It's something far worse. It targets the desperate, silences the righteous, and rewards those willing to compromise their souls for success. So here's the real question. If 99% of the industry is fake, how many of your favorite artists do you think have made that trade? And now that you know this, what will you do? Will you keep supporting a system that punishes integrity and rewards corruption? Every stream, every purchase, every play is a vote for what kind of industry we allow to exist. Choose carefully. What's your take? Drop your thoughts below, and if you want more truth like this, hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next one. Until then, stay aware, stay informed, and keep it real, family.